So we'd like to welcome you to our presentation tonight on summer activity ideas. My name's Maria Wiscombe. I work for the Utah Parent Center and am a parent consultant serving families in Alpine School District. And I help families through the special education process, help families connect to resources in the schools as well as community resources. I have a daughter with special needs, so I live the process as well as help families connect to resources. I will put my contact information in the chat box towards the end. So if you have any reason to contact me, you're more than welcome to. So tonight, our agenda basically is we have Brian Booth here, who is with the Adapted PE program in Alpine School District, and he's going to present some ideas and resources that the Adapted PE has put together. And then we have Nathan Pope here from the Occupational Therapy side of things with the district, and he's going to share some ideas as well from the Occupational Therapy side. Jolynn Gordon is going to assist him. She's also an occupational therapist in the district. And then I will follow up with showing you the Utah Parent Center summer activities list that we put together and update every year and post. It just actually got posted this evening on our website. So I will share that. But as we go through, like I said, don't hesitate to put questions in the chat box, and then we will address them in the chat box, but also in our discussion. And again, just a reminder to mute your mics. And if you'd like to keep your cameras on, fine. If you'd like to mute them, that's great too. But we will let Brian go for it. Thanks, Brian, for joining us.
All right, my pleasure. Hello, everyone. And let me just start off by saying that I hope that I can give you some fun ideas. If you do have questions and if I don't know the answer, I'm more than happy to come back and find out the answer and get them to you as soon as I can. So I'm going to do a quick little presentation on summer activities that you can do to stay, to keep healthy, to move your bodies, and to get out, stay happier. All right. So a quick outline. I'll do a slide on really how often should we exercise, how much should we exercise, ideally. I'll go over our parent resource manual for Adapted PE, which has a lot of different extracurricular activities that students have access to and families have access to during the summer. And I'll go over that. We're still kind of in the process of calling to make sure that everything is still there due to COVID and everything. But we left some of the things on there because they're still kind of in a gray area. I'll go over our Adapted PE website, the Shape America calendars that they have, which are really great resources. Shape America is the PE governing body. So they put out a lot of really great material for educators and families. And then I'll go over some of the gross motor screeners that we have that they're little checklists of movements, locomotor movements and object manipulation, ball skill movements that we have that we like to give to parents so you can keep track of progress during the summer. So, all right, how much, how often? Ideally, shoot for 60 minutes a day of moderate to vigorous physical activity. That would be awesome. I think right now it's at 5 hours of per week of low, less vigorous activity is kind of the baseline, what we would like people to get. So just throughout a week, if you can get 5 hours of intentional physical activity, that's awesome. And, it can be done walking pets, going out for a walk, riding a bike, chores, yard work, yard work, gardening, things like that. Another thing you could do is pick an appropriate step goal and try to hit that, get a pedometer, or, you know, just a guesstimate. Try to move around a little bit more. You can try to access your community resources, um, schedule permitting, and making sure that things are opening up and you feel safe going to access those things.
Brian?
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to say, I think the pedometer thing is an awesome idea. I don't think we realize, we're always tracking. I'm into like, if I forget my watch, I feel like I've wasted, all of this exercise was to waste, because it's kind of funny, but a lot of our kids will actually get into that, like how many steps they're getting and all of that. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, pedometers are really inexpensive now. And I think a lot of schools, the PE programs will have extra pedometers too, if people need them. So more than happy to give them that if they need it. Yeah, what else? Swimming, that's kind of a gray area, but at your own, however you feel with that. When students go on summer break, we notice when they come back, if their gross motor skills, their PE skills haven't increased too much, we find that that's often because there might be a lack of exposure to different activities. So just getting out and trying new things, I think, is really, really important. So going to playgrounds and playing on the different pieces of equipment there, trying to climb different things, trying to jump over things, crawl under things, roll around, hit things with a stick. Those are skills that we use in PE, and we use, and I'm, they're pretty fundamental skills, but pretty easy to work on just at a park or out at a like in your yard or in your house. And our website has a lot of these things that you can do. You can make in your own living room and do, as long as you feel comfortable doing that. Here is our parent resource manual. I'll open it up and move this. It still says 2019, 2020. We're still in the process of updating it because it's been a weird year. But there's all of the adapted PE, adapted physical educators, email addresses, the areas we cover. So if you're in, the east area of Orem, you can contact Hannah Whitson. Basically, here's a table of contents, any laws that pertain to adapted PE, different Utah and Salt Lake County extracurricular rec programs, and community center and community resources are all there. There are state programs, national programs, art programs. And so as you go through here, you can see that, all right, there's a recreation facility at American Fork, where it's located, the website, there's a list. Usually a lot of these have different pages with services they offer, and then the contact person who was there last time we had contacted them, the email or the number and their email. And so you can look through here and see if there's anything that looks interesting, might be fun. And they usually sometimes they'll have membership fees or some sort of cost associated with it. But a lot of them don't. A lot of them are free. So you just have to flip through and see if any of those seem interesting. Let's see if I can. Oops. All right. this might take a little more time that as I go through. If you have any questions, please reach out. This is the Adapted PE website that we put together during dismissal. So these are all geared towards at-home activities. There's lessons. There are, we filmed all of our own exercises that we use. And so what we're using in school, you can use at home. So it's the same language. And so it's very easy to cross over the environments like that. We have lessons, action songs, and we've also aggregated a lot of material from around the website, or I'm sorry, around the internet. And so we haven't updated since March, but that is on our list to do. So there's brain breaks. So fun things that you can do, just a quick couple of minutes to break up whatever you're doing with some activity. We have preschool activities, elementary school skills, junior high and high school activities, lessons, teaching tips, and equipment ideas for at-home learning. Again, our parent resource manual, and then our contact information. So this online learning is pretty nice because you can look at like at-home equipment, right? And here are some things that we might use, that you might have access to: beach balls, balloons, success balls, and you can go to this at-home DIY. And so this is another website that we contacted the person, Doug Bradley, and asked if we could link to it because he had so many great resources for building equipment just out of household items. And so you can look through here, and there are a lot of different ideas for building rackets and scoops and baseball bats and things like that that really are very cost effective and very easy to have access to. All right, so that's one part of it. Here's some teaching tips that we put together. This is kind of nice. Something we get asked about often is not really sure. Parents aren't really sure how they should work with their child, and something that we tell them we use is a prompt hierarchy, right? So the least invasive prompt would be a visual prompt, all the way down to partial physical or a full physical prompt. And you can start with a visual prompt, and then a verbal prompt, and then a gestural prompt, and then you can model it. And so you can kind of look at where some of these skills might be best taught, and you can try to add to those prompts to make it more easily understandable, or you can start to take away and see if some of these skills are being picked up pretty easily.
I'm gonna break in for just a second. I love those ideas that you have of creating things, just equipment at home with what you have.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Plus they look pretty safe.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah, like roll up a
durable.
stock and you can shoot it in a wastebasket or something, and that's basketball, right? You're aiming at a target, and you're using some sort of trajectory in the air to score a point.
And I think the kids would have a lot of fun helping create them too.
Mhm.
So then you're adding in one more activity.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Here are some lessons we put together, that we all do things a little bit differently, but these are some of these are mini lessons, some of these are full lessons. And yeah, you can just kind of explore this and see if any of these seem interesting. Something that we also have here, which is really nice, under elementary skills, and this will make more sense maybe at the end because I'll go over those gross motor screeners, those checklists of skills that are kind of task analyzed and broken down. We have things like we want to work on like overhand throwing a baseball. We have the different criteria here. We have different activities and games you can practice. And then we have a video showing how to do it, breaking it down. And we have that for all of the skills.
Do you have one that you'd want to spotlight?
Sure.
Love to see it.
Yeah, sure. I'll just pick one. Pick dribbling. So this is Drew.
Go.
So we have a video model showing what we're doing, what to look for. Contact the ball with one hand about hip level, or I'm sorry, about belt level. Pushes ball with fingertips, not slapping with the palm of their, or with their, oh geez, not just slapping the ball. And then maintain control for consecutive bouncing. And so very simple, makes sense, but it's nice to know that, okay, well, we're trying to push with the fingertips, or I guess the pads of the finger, and not slap the basketball. This is what it looks like. We can start with sitting and rolling the ball around our body, doing popcorn catching, which I'm not familiar with that, but I'm guessing it's bouncing it back and forth, all the way up to dribbling, weaving around cones. So it has kind of the very beginning stages of where you would be, all the way to a more advanced activity that you could do. If you go to these warm-up exercises, these are something we do. I think everyone does. All of the adaptive PE teachers do pretty much every time. So these are they should be very familiar throughout their adapted PE career. And so if we do, a table, you can go here and you can do a table, or you can see what the table is. You can try to imitate the table, have your child try to imitate the table. It's a pretty good table. Something we do get asked about a lot is walking up and down stairs. And so here are some things that can help with that. Different steps, step stools, and just kind of things to work on up and down curbs, cutting out feet and placing them alternating on steps so they have a visual representation of where their feet go. So just lots and lots of information on here. I just want to touch on a couple more things. Maybe it's here. We have action songs, which are really great. So these are songs that you can dance to, but they tell you different locomotor things to do. Like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, right? So it's body part identification, but also pretty easy to follow. Animal action, so you can imitate different animals. And so these are really great as a warm-up. And then anything else here? So lots and lots of information. We spend a lot of time putting this together. We feel it's pretty comprehensive for PE, gross motor in general. But if you have any ideas, please let me know. That'd be great. Let's get back to this. 17. Here's another really great resource. So Shape America is the governing body for physical education. And on this link here, it takes you to all of the cataloged movement calendars in both English and Spanish. And so you can go through here and take a look at them. And we have one, we put one here. So this, I think I just picked a random month, but it's nice because you can go look at Monday the 3rd, star jumps, jump up with your arms and legs spread out like a star, do 10, then rest and repeat. So it's something that's really, really small, but you can pin up to your refrigerator or something like that. And, one time throughout the day, you can do something kind of spontaneous and just a little bit of activity, a little exercise. These are what I was talking about earlier, those checklists for skills. And so the pre-K checklist we have here is broken up into 4 different areas: stationary skills, so balancing without falling over, standing on tiptoes, and imitating arm movements; object control skills, so throwing, catching, kicking, and starting to bounce and catch. Social, we mostly just work on whatever the teachers are working on, but these are really good to keep in mind: following instructions, turn taking, playing with a partner, and starting group games; cooperation versus competition. So we're all cleaning up together versus, that ball is only theirs. And then the different locomotors, running, being able to start and stop within within a timely manner after a cue is given without falling over; jumping up onto something, jumping down, sliding side to side, being able to balance on a balance beam, and walking on tiptoes. Here is kindergarten through 2nd grade. It's broken up in kind of the same categories, but they progress, right? Which meet up with the physical education core standards on what students should be learning in kindergarten through 2nd grade. And so you see, we now have galloping, hopping, more social skills that we work on in PE, and things that you can really work on at home, like maintaining personal space, starting to work on kicking, dribbling, striking with their hand with a short-handled and long-handled implement, like a ping pong paddle versus a golf club, and just learning where they're at in space versus where another object is and being able to connect that. And then finally, we have 3rd through 6th grade. So again, same concept, but again, progressing. And these are nice because you can have these and just print them out and use them as a checklist. And once you hit a lot of these skills, you can just keep progressing to newer and harder things. And that is all that I have for this presentation. Are there any questions that have popped up in the chat?
No questions so far, but I just actually barely reached out to them to see if anybody has any questions. I think these are great resources. I was playing with the website the other day, and on the secondary level section of the website, they've got a list of hikes to do throughout Utah County. So I thought that was kind of cool to, got some great resources.
Yeah. And it's just nice to, different hikes, bike riding, pickleball. Some of these we're still in the process of updating. We had to move some stuff around, but we hope to get a really big, comprehensive list of things on here that will be relevant forever.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're awesome. Well, thank you, Brian.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so we're going to switch it over to our occupational therapy. Well, someone just mentioned all of these resources are on the website, correct? And yes, they are. Right? On the adapted PE.
Yeah. The gross motor screeners, I don't know if those are, but we can get those uploaded. I think those are the only thing that aren't on there.
Okay, and then do they have permission to access them? Yes. So I put a link at the top for the handouts. I'll post it down here in case you didn't get it. But all the links to the websites and his PowerPoint are you can get to from this link I've posted. So yeah, they're open to anybody. Awesome, awesome. All right, so we've got Nate Pope now from the Occupational Therapy Department. He's gonna share some great ideas.
Pressure is on. Okay. Well, thanks, Brian. Some of those are awesome. We love working with adaptive PE because gross motor really facilitates development for fine motor and sensory development. Both of them are much helped by doing a lot of gross motor activities. So we definitely, there's some overlap there, and we love that piece. Let's see, I shared the OT website. Can you see that, Maria? Is that looking? Okay, Brian's giving me thumbs up.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. I'm trying to expand my view of the participants so I can see. Oh, there's Maria. Okay. Yeah, also that muscly guy on Brian's front page that was laying down posing, he didn't mention that was me. So I just thought I'd throw that out there as well. I'm just kidding. I wish. Okay. So we also created an occupational therapy website for the district, so that it kind of is like a one-stop shop for anyone who is looking for some ideas of stuff to do anytime. But summertime is a great time to access a lot of these. I know a lot of us are looking for, and hopefully some of you that are participating tonight are here for that reason, wondering what can I do during the summertime to maybe assist with IEP goals or just fine motor development, or maybe some sensory development, and maybe in some fun ways that you can do at home or in some easy ways. I have 6 children of my own. My youngest has Down syndrome. And so I kind of see it from a parent and therapist perspective. And I think what I want to mostly emphasize tonight is that the concept of becoming a parent therapist. And so I think to take some of the pressure off of parents, I have realized over the years, this is my 18th year doing this, and I just more and more I realize that some of these normal activities we do every day, or activities we do maybe during the summertime, some of them work, some of them play, some of them just like self-help skills, everyday things, are the therapy. So you almost don't have to compartmentalize too much and say, hey, I got to find time to do this separate therapy and feel that stress. Like I'm not doing what I can as a parent for my child who has a disability because I'm not making this separate time. Sometimes you just go do what your family's doing, and preferably, you're not all sitting there on the couch on devices. I do like to get away from some of that. But if you can do something active, either indoors or outdoors, as a family, either work or play, or maybe it's just getting ready for the day, getting dressed, getting your breakfast, brushing your teeth at night. Maybe it's a nighttime routine of getting your pajamas on, brushing your teeth, all of those things. There's routines that we have that are kind of normal routines. Start thinking of those as therapy and changing them a little bit to make them more therapy specific for your child. And what I mean by that, Brian had a great thing on the screen of the levels of cueing. I love that, Brian, where it talks, there's like a visual cue, a verbal cue, maybe it's a touch prompt, or what we can think of is, let's say we're helping our child get dressed for the day. And if you're like me, then you're guilty of doing too much sometimes. And like, okay, we're in a hurry. Let's just get dressed. And you kind of do a lot for them. What I would start thinking of is everything that you do, try to intentionally think of what little piece of this can they do. And I especially like saving the last piece if you can, for the child. For if I'm putting socks on, I might pull them up, even get the heel in the right place, but then have them pull the rest up the ankle. And all of a sudden they feel like they put their socks on. And there's that feeling of independence. And then next time you don't do quite as much. And I know it's a simple concept, and many of you already get this because you have children with disabilities. But even me with a child with Down syndrome who has some challenges that way, I still catch myself doing too much sometimes. And so I think it's a great thing for all of us to intentionally say, what can we do? This morning we were pouring Cheerios into a bowl, and I went to do it, and he wanted to do it, and I was in a hurry, but I stopped and I was like, he can totally do this. So I had him pour his own Cheerios in, and then the milk was only a few inches high, so I was like, heck, why not the milk too? So he did the milk, and the smile, he's just smiling, and and then I have this I'm a good dad moment, so it made me feel good. But I think the more moments we can make like that with just the everyday things and not feel overwhelmed too much, there's enough really cool gross motor activities that Brian shared that you can like take time to do as a family. Some of these fine motor things really can be some of what you're already doing, and you just include the child to whatever level they're able to do as much as they can. So more than promoting a whole bunch of lists of activities, because I could spend 2 or 3 hours doing that. And this website is going to guide you with a lot of that. More than that, I would like to impress on everyone that you don't have to feel too overwhelmed that way. Just try to intentionally find things that your child can do. That being said, I would like to share a few things on this website that you can access, because some of you are definitely wanting some fine motor self-help ideas, some ideas that could help them with writing maybe, or other things that they're struggling with maybe during the school year, and you want to use the summertime to play a little bit of catch up, which is also a great idea. So first of all, you've got here's the home screen. You've got handwriting as one of the main things we work on in the school setting. So I'm going to show you. So here, there's a bunch of resources. Here are some awesome apps that you can do. I will say with writing, one of the main things is the two most habit-forming parts of writing are letter formation and grasp. So those are great things to, if you're going to worry about any parts of writing, you can say, I'll let the school worry about line adherence, spacing, and sizing. I'm going to just focus on getting correct letter formation. And maybe I don't have time to sit down with them all the time. So I'm going to go get on my iPad and I'm going to put Writing Wizard or Letter School or Ingenie. All of these will promote the correct letter formation automatically. They can't do it. It doesn't let them do it the wrong way. And there's a lot of visual and auditory rewards if they do it the right way. So I really like these apps for writing. There's some resources for how to grasp. The main thing with grasp is having finger movement and not wrist or arm movement. That's something you can help reinforce when you're coloring or having fun. writing at home. I'm going to show just a brief video. So this is how you access, just go click on things. Here's a writing
Hi guys,
video.
this is Miss Olga, occupational therapist. Today we're going to do some exercises for your hands and fingers so they can be strong and ready for writing. For this activity, you will need 4 quarters and a pencil. Exercise number 1. Lay your hands flat down on the table and lift your fingers one at a time. Thumb, index, middle, ring, pinky. Go.
Okay, this is a 5-minute video. We're not going to watch the video, but she has some really fun ideas in this video. So I just wanted to give you a little taste. She'll go through a lot of warm-ups for handwriting, and it's, you can kind of push play, put a pencil and some coins, you know, the materials out there, and let them go with you as a casual observer, as a parent. So it kind of takes some of the burden off of that one-on-one, you know, to use some of these videos. It's going to be helpful that way. I appreciate it as a parent, especially, you know, summertime. I want them to do something. It takes me 30 seconds to start a 5-minute video, and then I'm just kind of casually watching and seeing them have fun with it. So you've got handwriting ideas. There's pre-writing strokes. There's videos for pre-writing. There's videos for cutting activities. So there's also some worksheets that you can click on. If you see a worksheet, like here's some fish, and you're trying to cut, you know, along the line to get to a target, it kind of makes it fun. You can click on this square here, and it'll blow it up. And then you can go over and click on download and or print, and just print these off. And then you can have some physical, you know, sheets to use that way. Let's see if I can get out of here. Okay, back to cutting. Okay. There's self-help skills. I'll highlight this first one. This is hand washing. Many of you may be wishing that your kids either did it at all, or that they were able to do it more efficiently. So this is a great video.
Austin. Hi, Austin. So we're gonna wash hands, right?
That's a sick.
We wash our hands so we don't get what?
I know you're gonna get sick.
So we don't get sick. All right, what do we need first?
I need soap.
We need soap, right? Show us how you put soap on. That's enough. All right, good. Then what do we have to do?
Water.
Water, we need some water.
Now, notice that she said, then what do we have to do? That's part of the cueing that, like, if we're trying to be good parents, one thing that I would say that is the easiest thing to remember maybe for cueing is to cue with a question rather than telling them what to do. So cue with questions rather than directives. So you're going to want to say, now turn the water on, you know, but instead just always think question, okay, because I need their brain to come up with the next step. Always be thinking that way. That's the easiest way to improve your not doing too much with cueing as a parent, is to just say, use a question for the next step. And that's a great way. And you can use leading questions if they need more of a hint, even to the point where it's almost telling them what to do, but you're still making their brain do a little bit of that work.
Gonna wet your hands? All right, and then you gotta scrub, scrub, scrub. Good job.
Yeah.
Yep, you can turn it off while you're scrubbing. All right, you can do the front of your hands. Oh, your fingertips. Very nice. In the back of your hands too, we gotta wash all the germs off. What a good job. Then what are you going to do? Water. We got to get all the soap off.
Okay, you guys kind of get the idea. So I'm kind of a little bit of a geek as far as watching self-help skills. So I could watch that video over and over and appreciate it, but you guys get the idea. So sometimes what we have been using lately is video modeling to help students, because some of your students might not want to listen to you explaining something to them for some reason, but they'll listen to someone else. And here we have, Austin on this hand washing video, who is a young man with disabilities, but he's able to do this, and they may be able to relate at a different level. Not to mention watching it on a screen, they can also rewatch it, and it's the same every time. So some of our kids who have autism really benefit from video modeling. And so you can even make your own videos at home if you're like, I think he would listen to me if I was on a screen and it was a video. And so you can use that as a strategy sometimes. But also in the self-help section, we've got buttoning, zipping, a lot of fasteners, shoe tying. There's just so many. If someone needs to learn how to do a combination lock, there's a lot of options there. Dexterity is another category. Just trying to get.
Hey, Nate, can I break in? Sorry.
Oh yeah,
I
please
just
do.
posted something in the chat, but we had a parent night a couple months ago in February on video modeling. And I have the handouts on the website that I just posted the link on the chat box, but the video should be uploaded by next week. So he does a great job in breaking down, and making videos for video modeling can be super simple.
Yes.
You can do it with your phone. It's so easy now.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, because you can tailor it to your child and to their routines and to whatever you want them to learn. And maybe they love a sibling or have a friend or a cousin or somebody, and you're like, hey, can you help me? If you do this video and they watch you do it, I think they're going to love it. And it is like magic for some of these kids. They will watch the video and do it as they do it or right after. And so it's great. Thank you, Maria. That's great to know. So here's some of the dexterity activities that you can work to, if maybe they're just not coordinated with their fingers. There's strengthening, finger strengthening. We've actually found some of our kids, especially in the younger ages, we've thought that they had attention and focus issues, but we figured out sometimes they just are getting tired. And so writing, if you have a crayon and you have to push hard and you're a preschooler, it takes some effort. And when you're tired, all of a sudden it's not fun. And you're like, well, I got to get out of this and do something different. And it looks like they have attention deficit or something. And some of them do, but sometimes it's a fatigue issue. So we don't want kids to be too limited in how long they're willing to do things with their fingers and hands. And the stronger they are, the longer they'll last. So we really have to trick kids with strengthening, because strengthening is not a natural thing. Kids do not get a resistance. It's not a thing that they understand. Resistance at younger ages, it feels like it's hard. Why would I do this? It's hard. And so they don't get, we go to the gym, we can work out and we get it, and it's hard, but we still do it. But for a child, that doesn't make sense usually. And so we want to have fun things to do where there's some other reward, like if you have Play-Doh or Theraputty or something, and you're finding hidden objects, all of a sudden you bring a different purpose. And even though it's hard, they're willing to do it for an extended period of time, which is what you need for building strength. because there's this reward involved. So there's some great activities there. Don't forget this more tab to click on there, because we couldn't fit all the tabs up there. So you've got two-handed activities, grasping activities, precision grasping, some recommended apps, some more apps, self-regulation. So some of this is some sensory stuff, visual perception, reflex integration, typing. By the way, typing if there's any parents that have kids 5th grade and older, I would be giving them a jump start during the summertime, get them doing something fun with learning how to keyboard better. Figure out where their level's at. Any of the progressive typing programs out there can be good. You might find one that, it has sharks or something, and that's what your child loves. And so now they're into it. Dance mat typing is, I believe, on this resource. We'll have a bunch if you click on typing club, doorway texting, dance mat typing. There's a whole bunch of typing activities. So that's one thing I often recommend to parents who have children who have struggled for years with handwriting. And the reality is, you may not give up on handwriting necessarily, but the focus may shift to typing, because junior high, high school, and the rest of their life, typing may become more of an important task for them. So really giving them a head start during the summertime. Some parents will be like, that is my one thing I'm going to really try to do, and they'll do typing. And so that could be something to consider if your child is in that category. There's motor planning activities. If, gosh, they're good at doing things with one hand, but if you got them string beating and they don't get that you have to switch hands and pull the string through, and you realize there's some motor planning stuff that's really hard for them, there's some activities there, eye-hand coordination. So this website is meant to offer a lot of options for you to access anytime that you're looking for stuff, and you can kind of go by category to find those options. How are we with time right now, Maria? Are we still good?
Yep. You've got like 8 more minutes.
Okay. Is that including question time? If anyone has
No.
questions? That's not
Well,
included.
yeah. So 8 more minutes, and then I'll do my bit, and then we'll open for questions.
Okay. And is there any chats so far that have come up in the meantime?
No, it's been pretty quiet. Quiet group.
Okay.
Time of night.
So one thing I was going to just talk about a few things for the summertime that might be helpful. And these are just some highlight things that I wanted to bring up. Okay, so let's talk about let's stay on typing since we're on typing right now. I did want to mention if you can make it a functional activity for them. For example, they may have a grandparent or a friend or a cousin or somebody or a teacher that they would love to go back and forth with doing an email. Email's a very functional thing these days. Have them going back and forth with an email. If they don't have someone who that would be as feasible with, or if you just want another idea as well, you can have an imaginary friend who is actually the parent, who may be we had one girl that we did this with. She loved fairies, and so she would start writing a story. And with her, we were working with writing, but you can do this with writing or typing. She would write a story and then put it in this envelope or in this box, and she knew next time, there was going to be a response the next day when she came and looked. And sure enough, it was kind of like a pen pal, an imaginary pen pal. So you as the parent can facilitate some of that. It kind of taps into that creativity. I like to bring purpose to these things. Sometimes we have kids write and type and they don't know why they're doing it. And boy, their motivation goes down real quick if they don't know why. And if you can connect them to something they really enjoy, like maybe they're social. And so this email back and forth or a pen pal idea with writing or typing, sometimes printing it off, folding it up, putting it in an envelope, putting a stamp on it, writing the address, mail it, going to the mailbox, flipping the red flag up. All of that can be like super motivating, where now they're getting the idea of why they're doing it. I like connecting purpose and meaning to the things that we do. It's kind of part of occupational therapy, but it's also part of being a parent therapist, like I was talking about earlier. Just anytime you feel your child is less motivated, examine the motive, like if they get the purpose of why they're doing it, and if you can't tweak it or help them understand that there's a fun either way to do that or a cool purpose that can connect them to that. Okay, I'm probably getting close on time, but there are cutting, coloring, and pasting art projects that are great to do. Sometimes kids are really motivated by creating and having an end product to see what they were able to do. And so getting them materials and letting them go after it. Some of your children are not going to be okay with scissors by themselves, and that you kind of need to decide that. You may have haircuts you didn't want and clothing that is being mended or adapted in ways that you didn't want. So be careful with scissors. But otherwise, it's great to be able to create stuff with your hands. Let's see. Squirt guns and using water is sometimes fun. Tummy time. The more time you can get them out of a chair and laying on their stomach with their elbows. First of all, you can't do this with scissor cutting. It promotes thumbs up. And so if you're doing any scissor cutting, I would do it on their tummy if they have that problem. So that's, but also developmentally speaking, being on your stomach at those younger ages is especially good. But even at older ages, because it works on some of that stability and your trunk strength and everything too. So using coin banks is a great way to promote precision grasping. Maybe you get an ice cube tray and put pieces of cereal in there so they can't do a raking grasp. They have to get inside to pull things out of the ice cube tray. I really do like job lists for kids to connect them to their cleaning up. There's some great things they can do. They can wipe off tables. They can rinse dishes. They can pick up their toys. There's a lot of things that they can do to contribute to keeping their space, tidy and clean, and it's a good functional life skill, and it makes me feel good as a parent when they're helping. Okay, I think I've covered a lot of stuff. I'll leave the rest of the time, to questions and answers, but mostly don't feel too stressed about trying to find a ton of things to do. Just try to take whatever you are doing and be that parent therapist. And if you just have that mentality of finding ways to just help them be a little more independent with whatever you're already doing or they need to do, I think that'll go a long ways for the summertime especially. So
All right, thanks, Nate. I appreciate that. It makes me, the advice that you've given makes me think about some advice that my daughter's preschool teacher gave us years ago. I was struggling with the fact that we had just left early intervention, and in early intervention, you are the therapist a lot. So you have a therapist that comes and meets with you, but then they give you stuff to work on at home. Then we transitioned to preschool, and I felt like I was handing her over, but I felt like I still should be doing more than what I was. And the best advice she gave me was she said the best therapy she can have is being a part of your family. And I thought, oh, wow, I love that. Because that's what we do day in and day out. It's family stuff. So that was some good advice. All right, so can you see my whole screen? You don't see the black on the side?
Yeah.
You can see the whole screen. Okay, awesome. All right, so the Utah Parent Center, like I said at the beginning, puts out a summer activity list every summer or every spring, getting ready for the summer. And this just was posted today, so we're the first to get to take a look at it. But we have it available in Spanish as well as English. And we also have, last summer, we didn't get well, I guess we did update the list, but there wasn't a whole lot going on last summer, as we all remember. And so some of our consultants spent quite a bit of time gathering virtual activities. And so that video is available on this site as well. And this is on the page of resources that I put in the chat box. And I've got something up here. Oh. One of the parents said that they were just listening, enjoying just listening. And then another said, thanks for the good reminders. So, all right. So well, actually, I already have it pulled up somewhere else. I've got too many tabs open. And then I can't shrink this, can I? I got to get rid of oh my goodness, you're going to see lots of funny things happening here. Okay. I'm going to just have to open it up. No, I can't. I've got too many tabs open. You're going to see how well I operate. Okay, so on here, it's broken up by county, and I see on our table of contents that they forgot to put Utah County in the table of contents, but we are listed. So there's quite a few resources in Salt Lake County, but the resources again are listed by county. Utah County is down at page 20. So you can go down and see, these are resources that we know about, and they called and checked on them and made sure that they're still functioning. So all of these resources are still functioning, operating this year. They're in all different parts of the county. So South County down in, this one was in Spanish Fork, yeah, an adaptable art. And I know that program's been going on for a few years, and they have a lot of success with it. The Boys and Girls Clubs are through, well, this one's listed in Price. There's a Boys and Girls Club of Utah County. So if you want to Google that, I know there is one in Utah County. Easter Seals has some preschool programs that go on during the summer. Eaton Alliance is a private provider that provides day or summer programs for kids with disabilities. There's a couple of the Hoofbeats to Healing and Courage Reigns. Those are horse therapy. And I know both of those also provide other therapies, speech, OT, physical therapy. And a lot of the recs do have adaptive programs. Lehigh does, I believe Orem does. I know down in the Mapleton area, they have adaptive T-ball, different things like that. Provo Rec has adaptive summer program or summer camp. That is awesome. My daughter did that. And they'll do it, I think, a week at a time. And it's for, I think, about 4 hours. I can't remember if it's morning or afternoon, and they may have changed it a little bit, but it's an awesome program. So, and then also there's several. So Swim Kids is a swimming program that provides swim lessons. And I actually posted on one of the Facebook groups, I think the Utah County Autism and Asperger's Parents group, a question looking for adaptive swim programs, and they had quite a few suggestions. So I'll have to have them update that on here. But there's some lists, as you can see. I can't access the chat right now. Jolene, would you, or someone, Brian, would you see if, I think there were a couple of things that were just posted.
Yeah. Someone posted a question. What does the Boys and Girls Club do?
So I know during the school, they have an after school program that provides help with homework, and then and they do activities. But here, let's just, you can see that I go there quite a bit. It just auto populates. And I'm not sure. Summer program. Well, here we go. So they do have a summer program. It looks like they do it a couple of weeks at a time, so 3 different sessions. And so I would just check it out, but I believe they just do different activities. I think most of them are based in schools, and their sites vary. So their sites might vary and be different than what their during the school year sites are. So you'll need to check it out, but I can put this link real well. I'm gonna have to get off. Oh, I can find the chat up there. That's funny. Okay, so here's the link if you want to check it out. So the summer activities list, I have put the link in the chat, and I can add it again at the end of our discussion. So, and I like these suggestions that you've added as well. So I like the fact to know that Lyndon does adaptive swim lessons as well. Ability First, yeah, they're Utah County's Independent Center for Independent Living, and they do provide activities for individuals 18 years and older. Looks like they're doing them virtually still, but that might open up as the restrictions become less. I gotta find my activities list again. There we go.
Maria, was Utah Swim Academy on your list of resources? Do you know?
I think so.
Okay.
I think
That's
so.
my boy goes there. It's in Provo. But it is kind of like someone mentioned, they call it adaptive, but it's really one-on-one.
One-on-one, yeah.
You still
So they
need
focus.
to tell them, this is what you need to know about my son or daughter, because they may not be trained in working with children with disabilities necessarily. They just have some experience doing swim lessons with them. So
Yeah.
it's one-on-one, but sometimes they need a little bit of coaching, a little help to know.
Right, and that's awesome. Well, and with anything, it's always nice to front load whoever's going to be working with your child so that they're not surprised. I know that, so we'll go down here. I'm sorry, but I'm not making you dizzy. There was a big, let's see, is this the state? Yeah, so statewide, so there's a lot of resources under statewide, so you can see these as you go through. I actually, one of the parent consultants I was on a meeting today shared information about this autism on the seas. So I pulled it up, and it's so cool. So it's cruises that are geared towards family, and it looks like all disabilities, so not just autism, but they provide a lot of services. And it's just, this cruise just is specifically for families who have children with different disabilities. And so there's a lot of adaptations. It sounds like there's a lot of support for the individuals with disabilities and for the families. So pretty cool stuff. And then there was one other. Oh, I go and click on my chat box and then it pulls down, so then I can't pull anything else. That's how naive I am on this. Best Buddies programs. If you're looking for childcare, there's Care About Childcare, and there's also care.com. If you need to find a qualified caregiver. The Family to Family Network is a statewide program. It's under the umbrella of the Utah Parent Center, but they do a lot of, in fact, since COVID, they've done a lot of virtual or drive-by activities. So they just had an Easter egg hunt that was a drive-by, and they had a bunch of companies donate items to put into grab bags for families. They did that with back to school and I think at Christmas time and a couple of other times. So getting on and connected with the Family to Family Network. There's a group in Utah County. So that's a great resource as well. Another hiking list. The one that is on the Adapted PE site is a great hiking list as well. So you can just scroll through this and, you know, play around with it, check different resources out. And then classes that are and camps that are non-disability specific. And I like these because some of our kids are high functioning enough to participate in different camps, but they might have problems with social skills. But if you get them involved in a camp with something that they enjoy doing, they'll be doing it alongside other peers that are doing the same activity and gradually build some of those social skills because they'll be talking about things that they like to talk about and like to do. So these are great resources as well to look at. And then at the bottom, I'm sorry I'm scrolling through this, but you can take your time with it as you have it. So see, we go quite extensive. Community education. In fact, we need to add UVU. I know UVU, their community education magazine just came out. And so I know you can tap into them as well. And then free and low cost activities. And then at the bottom, we've got some of our virtual, all the adaptive and all ability playgrounds in the state. There's one in Eagle Mountain. There's one in Orem. Some great ones close by in South Jordan. And then the online and virtual opportunities. I pulled one up. It looked pretty cool. It was this. Oh, when you were talking about keyboarding, I don't know how much coding. Coding has a lot to do with keyboarding, right? That would be a fun.
Yes, that's good. Good
Yeah.
skill. Yep.
And then this Story Pirates podcast, that would be something fun to listen to, I think, with your kids. So there's a lot of great ideas on here. But like I said, that's on the handouts for this. When you receive the link for tonight, there was a link on there that would take you to the handouts. So hopefully you were able to access that. All right, let's go to the chat box and see. Okay, so thanks for answering some of those questions, Andrea. Let's see. So care.com has filters, right, for disabilities, so you can make sure they have worked with children and disabilities, and even specific, you know, to autism or behavior. If your child has medical needs, or if they have a G-tube or anything like that, they can be specific. If there isn't a cost listed on this resource list, can we assume it's free? Not necessarily. So I don't think they were that specific in putting the summer activity list together. there are, like, under Utah County, well, and under most of the counties lists, they have summer programs listed, and most of those do cost. And so a lot of them do cost, but there are others that don't. Probably a lot of the state ideas, statewide ideas, the national parks. If you have a child with a disability and you want to access the national parks, you can apply for a golden access pass. And then you are able to access all the state parks or the national parks.
National.
National parks, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Free if you have your child with a disability with you. And you also get a discount on camping if they camp with you as well. So that's kind of nice to look into. And I believe that is on here. I'm going to make you dizzy if I go searching for it, but I believe that link is on here. It always is. So that's basically what I have to share. All right, well, we've hit 8 o'clock, the chat slow down. If there's any last questions, we'd love to take them. Otherwise, we just really appreciate your participation tonight. It was very informative. And thanks to Brian and to Nate for sharing all that you did. I've got some great ideas now too. So let summer begin, right? In about 6 weeks. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Thanks for being good parents.
Yep, lots of thanks in the chat box. So we appreciate that. All right, well, have a good evening, everyone. And happy summer.